Had a TikTok post blow up over the weekend. Crux of the message was basically for men especially to speak less. I gave an example. If you're late for work, don't come in rambling on about how bad your morning went. Basically what would sound like excuses. Just say, hey, sorry I'm running late. Boom, leave it at that. As I'm making this video, the TikTok was somewhere around 700,000. It was received well, a lot of good feedback. It was a lot of fun. Couple takeaways though. One, I didn't say anything about never apologizing, and a lot of people got that out of it. In a good way too, and it backed up, kind of meshed with what I was saying overall, so not a big deal. But it was interesting to me, everyone took this say less as never apologize. The other part of it was that some people took it as don't say anything or don't communicate at all, which of course wasn't the case. More to the point, and to put perhaps some more meat on the bones, think of writing classes in high school or college. Typically the assignment would be to convey a story, a certain amount of information, something quantifiable the teacher could look for, right? They'd have you write it up. You'd come out at 1,000 words, 1,500 words, whatever it was. And then the point of all that was to edit that down to maybe 400 or 500 words. Now, for people that don't like to write, they're not very good at writing, they're not very experienced at it, that was a lot of work because they wanted to leave in all this different information. Most of the time, however, you looked at any student's paper, you found basically people repeating themselves, sometimes overtly repeating themselves, sometimes just sort of saying the same thing over and over again in a little bit different way. So a good teacher, of course, would cross that out. And at the end of the assignment, you had 500 words. And if you really got into it and took the lesson that was supposed to be taught out of that, you understood that you could get across that same amount of information with about a third of the words you had originally used. And you also recognize when you're repeating yourself, even if not overtly. So when we apply that to everyday life, at work, at home, in relationships, you narrow everything down to where it's relevant. You're not silent. You're not rudely quiet. You just say what needs to be said. Now, for me and my job, I'm a planner, scheduler guy. I have an office, sit at my desk, 2 monitors. I put out a lot of fires in a sense. And so I get foremen and leads and a lot of different people coming into my office. And most of them are pretty good, but there's a few, they come in and they give me every detail of the job that they're working on. I don't need that. I'm in a hurry. I like these guys personally, but damn, this is really sucking the life out of me right now. So the running joke at work is, if you have a flat tire, fine. Tell me about the flat tire you had this morning. But please don't start with the invention of rubber, how your grandfather owned a tire store, all the things that led up to the tires on your truck. And then finally you get to the point where you're telling me about the flat tire. Just tell me about the flat tire. This is helpful in relationships, especially for men. First date, don't tell the woman your entire life story. Leave something to be discovered. Leave something to be found out. That's what she wants, whether she knows it or not. Be patient. Don't be so eager. At work, other competent people, especially those at the top, will respect you. They will assign more competence to you, and you're generally going to do much better at work when you show you have some self-restraint, when you show you have enough sense to just give the details. Again, my tire thing. Did you have a flat tire this morning? Yep, ran over a nail. Perfect. If you start to get into how your grandfather owned a tire store and an invention of rubber and blah, 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 it's childish. Simple as that. So learn to be concise, relevant, and learn to read other people's body language when they're interested in what you're saying and when they're kind of done. I won't get into all that here. There's a lot out there on body language, some of it good, some of it bad. But there are a lot of general cues when people start to shuffle papers, they start to turn their body and or their feet away from you, all kinds of little things. If you can tell they're trying to get away from you, wrap it up. Get to the point that needs to be done and move along.